Recording in progress.
So yesterday we have seen how to plot a line chart. You just started with the line chart. When you click on this line chart, just beneath this visualization, you will find this line chart. When you click on this, it will get moved to the report canvas. And what we have seen yesterday was, today I'm going to use a different data set. For example, I'm going to drag and drop the sales. Either you can drag and drop it, or you can simply.
जून की तो आना ही बोलता उसका जवाब क्या है बोलता है
So okay, I'm going to use the date thing here. I'm going to use the quarter. Okay, some problem because I'm using a new data set. The date table, the calendar table, whatever the dates are there, right? That is not in line with this one. So I just go here, and what I do is I just click on the calendar. Here I have just hard coded this one, right? This is to demonstrate how to use to work with other data set. Anyhow, I'm going to just copy paste temporarily here. Here what I'm going to do is, actually this is not the right way of doing it. We are not supposed to hard code the value. What do you mean by hard code the value? Typing the value here itself. Okay, instead what we will do is we will use minimum of sales W04 order date, minimum date, and then maximum date, so that it will pick up all the minimum date to maximum date, whatever the dates are, right? So that one it will pick up. It will generate the values. So the date column start from the minimum order date. So we have an order date that is available on sales W04. From that it picked up. Okay, the minimum order date, the first time the order raised was on 1st January 2011. Okay, and if you scroll down and if you take a look at the bottom, you will find the maximum, right? The most recent order. If you scroll down, it will take a lot of time. You see here, maybe yes, 26 September 2013. That is the max of date. Okay. Now you might be asking this question: why do I need to change this one here, the calendar? Because you need to specify the date, the sequence of the date values. The calendar table should have the date column. The date column should be unique. It should not have missing values. It should have continuous values. 2nd January, 3rd January, 4th January. There should not be any gap here. For example, if you have 2nd January and if you have 4th January, there is a gap here, right? So hence, it should have, whether you have a transaction sale or not, but in the calendar table, make sure that you are starting. For example, in this case, the order date, the first order which we received it on the 1st January 2011, starting 1st January to the latest order date, you need to generate sequentially all the dates should be there here, but there should not be any unique. 1st January should not repeat again. Okay, 1st January 2011 should not repeat again. Okay, so that's how I generated with this one. And if I go back to the canvas, report canvas, and here, okay, the date is there, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this one. I'm going to just pull this quarter here. You can just select this column here. If you select this column, this one will get pulled here, but here what happened, it goes to it went to the values thing in the quarter. We can see the 1 2 3 4 is there, still it is not in the proper thing. Let me just go and check what problem we have it here. Already I fixed it here. I don't know why it's coming again. It should display correct thing here. Let me just Instead of quarter, I'll use the year thing. Okay, I did not create the link, right? So this is also, you need to make sure that what are the files that you are using it, especially if you are using the time related thing, you need to create a relationship. Sales W04 is the file that I imported it, loaded it into my Power BI desktop. Now what I am going to do is I am going to link this one with my calendar table. I did not link this, that's why it is not showing the correct value here. So this date and order date, I'm going to link it. Sorry, yeah, the date and order date. No, it got. Let me delete this. Date, order date. It should be like this. You should be knowing all these things. Okay, over a period of time, you will get to know this one. Okay, look here. Here, we are not getting any value for the year or quarter, right? So there is some issue here because we are using the sales from sales W04 table, and also we want to have the quarter in the x-axis, right? So the quarter, the calendar table should filter my sales W04. In order to filter this, there should be a relationship here, right? The date column should be linked with either order date or ship date. So I just used order date here. And once again, even after creating the relationship, make sure that you click on the date column. On the right side, you will find properties within this place. If you scroll down, you'll find date, time, year. Where is the order date? We linked this one with the order date. Click on the order date in this table. If you scroll down here, it is date. Okay. So here it is not proper format. What we will do is, here also we will make it date. See, if it is a date data type, here you should make it, here if it is a date data type, here also you make it date data type. Or if you have date data type here, date time, you can make it date time. Okay. It should not be, when you create a relationship, make sure that the data type is also same. Order date, look here, and when you click on this, that's why it is always a best practice. Even after creating the relationship, you click on this, open the edit relationship, manually take a look at this order date. Look here, date, month, year. Okay, here also date, month, year is there. Month is also in the full form, right? So then we linked with the correct column. So click on OK. We use the proper data type. That's what I'm trying to say. Look here date, and here also date. Date. So in real time scenario, sometimes it will be like this. So already they would have done something partially, and then they'll ask you to pick up and do it from the beginning. Okay, or from the place where they left off, you need to continue from there. Here I just drag and drop quarter. Now let us see. Now it is correctly filtering it. The filtering is happening correctly. Look here. So just beneath the visualizations, you will find access, and you have another icon, the rolling painter icon, right? So this is where you can do formatting, and this is where you need to specify the x-axis and y-axis values, and you can specify the legend also here. So quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, this is my line chart, and here what I'm going to do, we have something called legend. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop the region here in the legend, so that it will show in each, right? So all the 4 quarters, and so how each region has performed in one single line chart itself. We can see all the regions, each regions sales performance. Now the question is, why should I use a line chart? In the case of line chart, what we do is usually in the x-axis we use the date related value, either quarter or year or month, we specify it here. The reason is, using line chart, we'll get to know the changes over a period of time to understand the trend. Line chart is used to understand the trend. In this case, sales trend, right? Usually for sales trend, they'll be using it here. So this is what we have seen it yesterday. Now we will take a closer look at when to use. So let me just check. The recording is going okay. When to use what type of charts in Power BI. So we have something called the line chart. So as I told you, line chart is used to track changes over a period of time. So for that purpose, we'll be using line chart to find out the trend, whether it is the sale is moving in the upward direction or in the downward direction. Are we really doing good job compared to previous year, current year, or previous quarter and current quarter? Can we see all the 4 quarters put together? Can we see the upward trend? So for that purpose, will be basically to track changes over a period of time. We use a line chart. And the next one is the area chart. So we have something called area chart. The area chart, it depends on the line charts. Okay, it is also somewhat similar to this one. What I do is I just move this up. Here we have so many regions, it looks a bit cluttered. I'm going to remove this. Instead I'll put a category here. Okay, this looks okay. Okay, furniture, this is my furniture sales. And all these 3 categories, furniture category, office supplies, technology, all these 3 categories we can see an upward trend. That means the sales is going up. Okay, fine. So now what I do is I just copy paste this, Control C, Control V. How do you copy paste this? Control C and Control V. So now what I do is I just selected this visual. Instead I just click on this one, area chart, and we have something called stacked area chart. We'll start with the area chart. This area chart is depending on your line chart. More or less it is same. If you look at the lines, right, so there is a bend here and it goes up, the same thing, but only thing is between this line and this line, right, the area got filled with different colors. Okay, the area between the axis, your x-axis, and the line, and this line is filled with some colors, different colors. So with this we can compare more than 3 categories. In this case 3 categories. You can compare more than 2 categories or 3 categories. With this you can compare. With this you can easily compare. Look here, when you hover the cursor here, right, so you will get to know in quarter 2 what is the sale in furniture, office supplies, technology. With the help of this tool tip, you will get a quick insight. Here also the same thing. Here also you can find it, but the only difference is if you have the color filled in between the axis and this line, it gives you a quick idea about so where how it goes, and it is pretty simple, right? Pretty easier to compare with other categories also regarding the trend. Okay, this is what area chart is all about. Next we will take a look at the bar chart. Okay, before we move ahead with bar chart, now you understood what is area chart. Area chart depends on the line chart to display quantitative graphical data. Only the difference between area chart and line chart is between the axis and the line, that area filled in with different colors. Next one is bar chart. Bar chart is also called as horizontal charts. So we will plot some bar chart. Interpretation is not much. It is pretty simple, right? Easier to grasp the trend. Not much difference. And the next one is bar chart. This is my stacked bar chart and clustered bar chart. Look here. So there are 2 type of chart at a high level. One is bar chart, another one is column chart. Okay, so the bar chart is used to track changes over period of time. Okay, and also using bar chart we can compare one category with another category. For example, in this case I'm going to click on the stacked bar chart. Stacked bar chart. Here I just select the sales, check mark the sales, and we will use the same column category here. No, category will not. This is your simple stacked bar, bar chart, but this is a horizontal. So if somebody says bar chart, it should be horizontal chart, because bar chart is horizontal chart. You need to remember that one. Okay, so here I was using another term, stacked bar chart. So bar chart is horizontal chart. What is stacked bar chart? So what I am going to do is I am going to drag and drop the category here, and next one is I am going to use some segment here. I just move this up. Look here, this is what your stacked bar chart. If you see here in the each category, here we can see in this case in all these three categories we can see three rectangles. So one rectangle, each rectangle stacked over other rectangle. So this rectangle stacked over this one, and this rectangle stacked over this one. Similarly this one. So with this we can quickly make out in the consumer segment how much we sold in furniture, what is the sales in furniture, and what is the sales in office supplies and technology, and similarly, right, we can see that. But just by looking at this, we are able to quickly understand the consumer segment. We are doing a really good job. And next one is corporate segment, consumer segment, corporate segment, and the home office. The sale is not so good. Now the question is, why stacked bar chart? Why not the same thing? What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy paste it. This is stacked bar chart. I just copy pasted this one. I'm going to convert the stacked column chart from bar to column chart. The column chart is your vertical one. The orientation is vertical here. Both of them are stacked only, right? Stacked, but it is a stacked bar chart. This is stacked column chart. Okay, what is a stacked chart? Why do we have to use stacked chart? Right, so first of all, right, the whole idea of understanding the different type of charts is to effectively display the data. Right, so we need to be prudent to choose the appropriate visual to represent the data based on the need. So the stacked chart is used to used to show part to whole comparison. Part to whole comparison. Look here, if you hover the cursor here, you have 23 lakh, and here you have something called 15 lakh, and here you have something like. So of these three categories, right, which category part to whole, you need to compare this one with the overall thing, right? Each part you want to take this one and compare to the overall part to whole comparison, right? So from that kind of situation you can use stacked chart. Either you can use stacked bar chart or you can use stacked column chart. Okay, so now the question is, when should I use bar chart, when should I use column? It's pretty simple thing. If the values here, right, so these are the categorical value, consumer, corporate, home office, these are the categorical value. So what do you mean by categorical value? Segment is a column name. This column has categorical value. It is not a quantitative variable, it is a categorical variable, segment column. Similarly, category is also a categorical, it has a categorical value in it. Supposing your categorical column value is very lengthy one, in that kind of situation this is very much helpful. Okay, and if your x-axis values are not bigger one, then you can go for this. Okay, but this one, right, it is up to you. Okay, you can decide, but stacked chart is used to show part to whole comparison. But in general, right, the advice is avoid stacked chart as much as possible. Though this one looks good, right? So it can quickly become overwhelming. Okay, right? So you don't use the stacked chart in general, but sometimes, right, they wanted to understand part to whole relationship. In that kind of situation, you can use them. But here, so in the case of stacked bar chart, you are not supposed to compare the category. It is not helpful to compare the categories side by side, right? So that is the one you need to remember it here. This is basically to compare the part to whole, each part. So overall, all these things put together, this one this one contribution is more. Which one? The consumer segment contribution is more. So here, in this case, the furniture and this one, the home office, right? So furniture contribution is more. Part to whole comparison, go for stacked chart. And next one is what are the other things are there? Yeah, this one. The next one is clustered bar chart. So these two are stacked bar and column chart. These two are clustered bar and column chart. These two are 100% stacked bar and column chart. If you remember bar and column chart, bar chart is nothing but horizontal. It's horizontal. This is a column chart. Within this stacked, we have two different types, bar and column. Same way, we have something else called clustered column chart. This is 100% stacked chart. We will see what is 100% stacked chart little later. Now what I am going to do, since this place we don't have space here, I just copy paste any one of the visual. How do you copy paste this one? Either you can right click on it, copy visual, click on the plus sign. You can create as many pages as you want, depends on your requirement. But again, the pages whatever you created, the number of pages should be logical. Okay, so here we are going to explore now clustered bar chart. Now I am talking about clustered bar chart. Look here. Here each rectangle displayed separately, whereas here in this case what happened, each thing was displayed one over the other, right? So each rectangle stacked one over the other. So here instead of having it in a single column for all the three, right? Here it shows something like this. For each category, display the rectangle separately. I am going to copy paste this one now, and I just drag this out here. And next one is I am going to click on this one. This is my clustered column chart. This is your column chart, this is your bar chart. Remember that the bar chart, if somebody says that is an horizontal chart, column chart is like this. So in this case, you can compare the categories side by side. Whereas in the case of stacked bar chart, you need to use the stacked bar chart to compare part to whole, right? How much each category compared to the overall. But here it is not like that. So this category, just by looking at this, when you compare each and every category side by side, right, you will get to know here the technology sale is outperforming, right? Technology sector or the category is outperforming compared to other. The second topmost one is the furniture. Clustered column chart is also pretty simple one. Next one is the 100% stacked bar, 100% stacked column chart. I just move this up. If you want to compare the categories side by side, then you can go for this one, the clustered chart. Either you can use a clustered bar chart or you can use clustered column chart. The next one is 100% stacked chart. So what I'm going to remove this one. Instead I just copy paste this one. They will ask you these questions, okay, in the interview. So when did you use which chart? So this is, I'm going to click on this one. This is 100% stacked bar chart. I'm going to copy paste it. Next we will see the column chart. I just click on this to convert this as a column chart. 100%. If you look at here, all the categories put together, right? So if you can see the rectangles for all the segment are of in the same size, isn't it? All of them are in the same size. I just take this one for our reference. You need to understand the difference between stacked and 100% stacked. I just copy visual, go to this page, right click, paste. Here I am going to paste it here just for our comparison. Okay, so what is the difference between this one and this one? This is my stacked bar chart. This is my stacked 100% stacked bar chart. It is displaying horizontally, but if you compare this stacked bar chart with this 100% stacked bar chart, all these rectangles are in the same size, equal size. So what is the difference between these two? What I am going to do is I am going to go ahead and enable the data values, data label. So here, so if you click on this one format icon, and if you scroll down, you find data label. Just toggle it to on. Click on this on. So you can see the values displayed here. And if I select this one, here, and if I go and enable data label, display the data values in each rectangle itself, right? In this case of 100% stacked bar chart, right? So the difference is it considers each and every categories values in terms of percentage, 100%, right? Out of 100%, how much each category fared, performed, how much sale we made in terms of percentage. Here in terms of values, here in terms of percentage. That is the difference between 100% stacked bar chart, column chart, and the plain stacked bar and stacked column chart. That is the difference. Okay. So instead of displaying the values as it is, it displays the percentage of contribution out of the 100%. So with this, you should be able to understand what exactly the stacked chart is all about, part to whole. Just by looking at this, you can understand of these whole 100 out of the 100%, the 39% sale we made in technology, part to whole, right? So out of 100%, 39.4 we made. Out of 100%, 41% we made. So technology contribution is more. So which contribution is poor? So this one, this is my office supplies. Part to whole comparison, you can go for stacked chart, whether it is 100% or the plain thing. Okay, so the stacked chart is meant for comparing part to whole relationship. In that kind of situation, we will be using this one. Next one is we discussed about the stacked chart, column chart, everything, and scatter plot. Scatter plot is used to show the relationship between two numeric variable or two quantitative variable. Okay, the data scientists, they'll be using more frequently the scatter plot. Even data analysts, they'll be using it, but the data scientists, they are the one more frequently using the scatter plot. Using scatter plot or bubble chart, scatter plot or bubble chart, we can identify the relationship between the quantitative variable. Okay, now what I do is I just, instead of messing up here, it's already cluttered, I just go somewhere here. Look here, you can see scatter chart. I just click on this. It just dragged and dropped here automatically the moment when I clicked on this. Now what I am going to do is so look here, this is the, for each type of chart, you can find the different fields here. If you keep the cursor here, the first icon, this one, right, this is where you need to specify the fields. Either you can drag and drop the fields here, or you can drag and drop it here directly, and then later on you can change it. For example, if you drag and drop it everything here, and later you realize this specific column should be made as part of y-axis, and this column should be made as y-axis, you can change it. You can just move this up, move this down. You can do it that way. I'll show you now. There are let us do one thing. I'll do one thing here. I just directly drag and drop sales. See, I just select it and then drag and drop it here, sales. And the next one is profit. And next one is, okay, I'm comparing these two numeric variable. Okay, and the next one is the legend. I'm going to say the region instead of I'm going to use a column which has more value in it, the categorical variable region. Okay, region came in here, and yeah, so here the legend I'm going to use category also. Look here, this is my scatter plot. In the x-axis I have sales, and the y-axis I have profit here. Okay, and here the legend, you can use whichever column, right? So you can use it here. So the each in this thing, right? So here we have the regions. One second, I just I just put category, but category alone, if I put it, it is not showing much value here. Yeah, what I will do is I will just drag and drop this one also here, and here if you scroll down here, you will find another field called size. Just put sales here. The moment when you drag and drop the sales, the size of each dot, right, it became a bigger size. The bigger the size, more the sales. Smaller the size, lesser the sales. Got it? So with this, what we can see is, as the sales increases, the profit also increases. So there is a linear relationship exists between the sales and profit. So that's a common phenomenon. As the sales increases, the profit also increases. But there are some cases the sales is more, still the profit is not up to the mark. So in that kind of situation, right, so basically to understand the relationship between the two variables like this, right, management wants to know, how much sales we made. Not only knowing how much sales is sufficient, as the sale increases, are we getting the profit? Yes. If you keep the cursor here, it shows the region and then the category also, right? The category is, in this case, office supplies. Look here, the blue color, right? So here for each region, it used different colors. Sorry, the office supplies category colors, right? So here, since I put category in the legend, for all the region, right? These are the region related sales data. So in this region related sales data, and what is the sales in the furniture, office supplies, technology. Okay, now what I do is, with this we are able to quickly understand. Look here, there is a upward trend here. There is a upward trend. It's going up. It's going up. There is a linear. Most of the values are somewhat closer to this one. Most of the circles are somewhat, it is not, the circle is not here, not here, right, not here, right, it is somewhat closer. But however, there are some circles are little far away from this line. This is kind of a linear line. A linear is straight line. So that means, right, if all the values, the data values are closer to this line, that means there is a linear relationship or correlation exists between these two quantitative variable. That is how you need to interpret it. So to understand the relationship between two numeric variable, you are going to use scatter plot. Okay, now what I am going to do is I just do little bit formatting all the things. I just scroll down here. Not this one. Play axis. We have something called play axis. What I am going to do is I just drag and drop the year here. Okay. The moment when I dragged and dropped the year just beneath this play axis field, a button got enabled here. Look here, this is 2014. If I this is animated, this became an animated scatter plot now, bubble chart. Okay. If I click on this, look here, 2011, 2012. If you pause it, right? If I see, I just paused it here. If I click on it one more time, it keep place 2013 and 2014. What is it? 2011, 2012, and 2013 and 2014. Look here one more time. If I play it, 2011 not much, right? In 2012 it is going up. The sales is also there. The profitability is also good. Okay, so you can animate this one also. And another salient feature of this one is you just go to the format painter and not this one, analytics. You have something called analytics. So what you do is you can go and create some average line. If you click on the add here and here, yeah, for average line 1 I'm going to use the sales, and next one is I'm going to add profit. Look here, I just clicked add and then I did not do any changes here. For this column, look here, so for this one I selected sales just beneath this in the measure, and here I selected profit. So here only two numeric variables are there. So in this case I just selected profit here. Look here, so there is a average line, average profit, average sales. Now we are able to create a line, right? So the x-axis and y-axis, we are able to find out the average sales and average profit. So with this we are able to understand above average. What is the above average sales? In 2014 we can see above average sales as well as the profitability also. So this is the average. Okay, now the question is, we made sales, but is that sales is above average? Above average? No, it is below average, and because this is my sales value below average sales, and this is my profitability. Okay, and the average profitability. So here if you see here, below average sales, can we see anything above average profit? Office supplies. You understood? This is how you need to extract the insight. The tools will have a lot of features, lot of options. End of the day, you should be able to interpret the visuals this way. And if you look at here, if you keep the cursor here, over the cursor, so look here, negative profit. The Southeast Asia furniture, the sale is, but this, if you see here, it's interesting insight. The sale is above this average, but it is below profitability. Below average, right? Profitability. Look here, if you see here, this is good, but if you see here, the profitability is just on the middle. Okay, but only this one is the cost for the concern, and even this one is also good. This is the cost. So when the management happens to see this one, right, they will get to know why in Southeast Asia, the furniture category, though the sales is above average, the profitability is less. Okay, is it due to return, or is it due to the higher shipment cost, or did we spend more on any other expense, right? Or did we buy at a higher cost? Did we not specify the optimal margin value? The margin is not that good. Probably by looking at this, they may increase the margin. You see, the sales price is 1,000, and then right by looking at this, they could see a negative profit. That means, right, they'll have to increase the margin. So 1,000 rupees means they'll have to probably add 100 rupees instead of 20 rupees. 1,020. Let's say they are selling it at the cost of 1,020. With that, they could see a negative profit. Instead, by looking at it, they'll try to tweak the margin. Okay, how much margin we can keep it. This is one of the challenging part. Okay, even when I work with Walmart and even the current company, right? So the pricing is one of the challenging thing, because the price should be on par with your competitors at least. Only then your customer will come, and again they will see the features. The shipment is free or not. If you give free shipment, the cost is on par with my competitor. To attract the customers, the additional feature what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the shipping cost zero. In that case, what will happen is it will shoot up my profit, right? It will shoot down my profitability. Gone, I'm gone. So with this, you are able to understand the purpose of using the scatter plot. Scatter plot is very much helpful to understand the relationship between two numeric variable, two quantitative variable. Next one is the combo chart. Just give me a second. Sorry, we have something called combo. Look here, this is called line and clustered column chart. So it is also called as a combo chart, because in this case, sorry, I just use this one. So that's why, see what mistake I did, right? I selected this visual, and then when I clicked on this one, obviously this one will get converted as the new visual. So if you want to create a new visual, always click on the blank space of this report canvas. Now it got deselected, but just click it once, because what will happen is in the latest version Power BI, right, it will create Q&A visual by default if you click 2 times. Look here, so I just selected this one. Now I want to create a new visual. Just click on it once, that's it, in the empty space. Okay, and then click on this one, the line and clustered column chart. So in this case, if you look here, the line, this is a line chart, this is your column chart. The combination of both line and column chart, you can plot it. That is the reason why they call it as a combo chart, composition chart or combo chart. So what is the advantage of this? By combining the column chart and the line chart, we can make a quicker comparison of the data. Okay, for example, what I am going to do is I am going to do something line chart. Yeah, so here I'm going to say, I'm going to check mark. See, either you can drag and drop it, or you can check mark it. When you check mark the column, this column will get dragged and dropped here automatically. Fine. And here the quarter is in this field, and the next one is column series. Column values are there. Here what I am going to do is I am going to drag and drop the sales here. Simply you can drag and drop it here for quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. What is the sales? Now what I am going to do is I am going to drag and drop. See, we call this is the combo chart, the column chart as well as the line chart. The line is missing, so line values I am going to put the profitability here. Look here, this is my line chart. My line chart is overlapping my column chart. What is the advantage of this? I just go and enable the data labels in the format section. Toggle, when you click on this, right, when you click on it one more time, it will become off. Okay, toggle on and off. So I just toggle it. Yeah, look here, the data labels, along with each data point, is getting displayed here itself, so that we can gain an insight quickly. So quarter one, what is the total sales? What is the profitability? Okay, if you keep the cursor, look here, and if you see here, quarter one sales and quarter one profit, right? So if you hover the cursor here, you can see that. So these two columns, the sales and profitability, shares the common x-axis value. Okay. Okay. So when can I use combo charts? When you have a line and column chart with the same x-axis, then you can go for combo chart to compare multiple measures. What do you mean by measure? Profit is a measure, sales is a measure. If you want to compare more than one measure with different value ranges, you can go for this one. And also to demonstrate the correlation between two measures in one visual, you can go for this. Okay. And also to reduce the space in your canvas, instead of having a separate visuals for, one is for line, other one is for column chart, right? Since you have a combo chart, you can use the space in the report canvas more effectively, right? So next one is the table visual. Table visual, we already discussed it in most of the session. I would have created the table visual. So you might be asking this question, and most of my students, they used to ask this question. So why table visual? It is boring. It is similar to my Excel sheet, right? So the whole idea of data visualization is visualize the data in the form of charts. And why should I use the traditional table, the Excel sheet or spreadsheet kind of rows and columns? The advantage of this one, right, most of the time we use table for troubleshooting. Okay, whatever the values, for example, you have created the relationship between the tables, whether it is filtering the data correctly or not, right? It is pretty simple. You can use other charts also, but table is very much helpful. It will give you the detailed data about your data, or detailed information about your data. Okay, to compare the detailed data with your exact values. In that kind of situation, you can use it. And also to display the numerical data by categories or groups. In that kind of situation, table is very much helpful. The same column I am going to select sales. Instead of using all same thing again, I am going to use segment here. Look here, I just dragged and dropped sales and segment. This is my table visual. In the case of table visual, we have only one field called values. You can drag and drop as many fields as possible. But if you want to change the order of the columns, for example, I want to have the segment column first and the sales column to be the next, simply move this up. Look here, it got changed. So why blank value here? There are some missing values are in my date column or somewhere. Okay, some missing values are there. We'll discuss about the blank values, the error handling and all later in the later session. So this is a simple way of creating the table, right? So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take up this one. This is the one. Look here. Yesterday we played around with this many-to-many relationship, right? So we have used the bridge table and then, right? So we have included the city column in both the states one as well as in the city data table, and even in the bridge table we have used the city as well as the state columns, and then we are able to filter the values correctly, right, with this setup. So now what I am going to do is, so this is my table visual. I am going to do some kind of formatting here. So how do I do the formatting? Just go to the format section here, rolling painter, icon, and if you scroll down here, general, you can specify the position, x-axis position. You don't have to specify in general, okay? Simply you can drag and drop it wherever you want, and also if you want to resize it, you can just increase something like that. But this one seems to be odd because oddly we have 4 columns. There is no point in increasing the width of it. And now I just go to the style. Just beneath this, style option is there, and if I click on this, I have a lot of options are available. For example, if I select bold header, my header become bold here automatically. Instead of this, if I select alternating rows, every alternate rows it puts some color, okay? And but if you see the column header and then the total, right, at the bottom of this one, you can see the total. These two are highlighted in black color, bold, alternating rows. And you have some contrast alternating rows. You just keep trying all these things, flashy rows, and you have bold header, all the things, sparse, condensed. You have different options are available, and I'm going to select the alternating rows. Okay, let it be there. Now we will explore some other important properties or the formatting options. Look here, column headers. So grid, table is a grid, right? It is a grid format. Rows and columns, the data is stored in that format. And if you want to have vertical grid, you can enable it so that it will draw a line, right? It's something like your Excel kind of thing. And the next one is, you can specify the grid color. And if you want horizontal grid, that also possible, okay? Horizontal grid is enabled automatically. And the next one is the column headers. So these are the column headers: state, city, sum of sales. Here what I do is, the background color is, it took this one, and the font color is white. So the if your background color is dark color, the white font color will suit well. And the next one is the font family. You can change the font family if you prefer. For example, if I prefer DIN, DIN, something like that. And then if you want to increase the text size, you can increase the column header size should be little bigger, so that you can discriminate, or you can distinguish which one is column header, which one is value. Fine. So now I'm going to alignment, auto alignment. So I'm not going to do any more thing. Now we have column header. I just minimize this column header, and then next one is total. Even for total also you can specify the font and this one. So use the consistent font. Don't use DIN here. You don't use Courier New. Different font family. Don't use it. If you use consistently, you can use it. The size also you can probably increase it little bit. Okay, and we have something called title. We have to give some title to this one. So there is a property called title here. Instead of searching it by scrolling up and down, we have some search option here. Simply type title. Almost all the visual have title. Look here, click on enable this one. Toggle on. The moment when you toggle on it, it will show everything, right? So one second, title, heading the title text, specify the text here. Look here, the title is appearing here. This is the title of your table visual, and you can specify the size of this one, okay, heading 2 or something like that. And still here you have the alignment option. If you want this title to be there in the middle of this visual, select, look here, now the title is appearing in the middle. Or if you want this to be on the right, so no one use this one, either middle or left side. So in this case I'm going to leave it as it is in the middle one, okay. And text size I'm going to increase it, okay, 15, because title should be visible. And if you want to enable bold, bold, you can enable bold. Okay, and the next one is background color. Yeah, font color I'm going to make it as white, and background color I'm going to make it black here. Now it is, now you understood how to specify the title. Or if you think, right, it looks odd because the title size is very big, you can probably align it to the left. Instead of searching it out, just to save the time, just type the title, and then what you do is you scroll down a bit and select the left alignment. Look here, now it became left side of this table visual. Good, we did right. So formatting of this one, enough formatting we did it. And we have another option called conditional formatting. This is the one you need to remember it. In the interview they'll ask you about conditional formatting. Look here, in this format, if you scroll down here, conditional formatting, you have something conditional formatting. You can select the column. Okay, here I am going to say sum of sales. I am going to click on here. Okay, I am going to toggle this to on. Okay, so when you enable this one, what happened? So automatically it puts some color. The 400, higher the sales, it put the darker color, right? The darkest color. The sales, those have lesser sales value, the color is lighter, and this is a little bit dimmer, and this also a little bit, and this is dark one, right? And no, I don't want these colors to be determined automatically. So in that case, what you do is just click on this here. Okay, so what we will do is here we have the, where is the conditional formatting? This is the one. I'm going to select the sum of sales, and background color is on. Click on the advanced control. This is very much important. So here the sum of sales, this is a column, right? So I want to base this column. Okay, and here what is summarization is sum. I'm not going to make any changes here. Lowest value, for the lowest value specify this color. So instead what I'm going to do is I can select my own color. Lowest value should be highlighted in red color. So hence you need to click on this down arrow here, and you click on this, and you can see red is not there. Then click on more colors. Look here, the red, you just click on it here one more time, and you can see the red color got selected here. Lowest value is red, and the highest value is, I'm going to say, green. The green color is not there here, hence I'm going to use the color palette. This is called your color palette. I'm going to use the green color. I just slide this here somewhere. This is my green color. I just double click on it, that's all. So my highest value, you show it in green, and this one you show it in red. Now the question is, okay, anything in between, can I use amber color or yellow color? Yes, add a middle color. When you click on this, middle color will get. So here by default it has chosen some amber kind of color. Okay, now if I click on OK, what will happen is the conditional formatting, whatever we did it, this one will get applied on this sum of sales column. Okay, or if you want to use the some other column, you just click on this and select, for example, sum of population. If you want to use it for sum of population, then you can go and type that column, sum of population, something like that. Okay, whichever column that you wanted, you can select it here. In my case, I'm interested in sum of sales. I just clicked on it. Look here, we could see 3 different colors: red, and the little bit amber, and this one green color. Green color shows me 400 is very good, and 150 is okay, and 60, 80, 100 needs improvement. Okay, so the next thing is I just click on advanced control. here the lowest value, you can specify the custom also. Okay, you can specify your own value also. So if anything, less than 80 or something like that, right, you can specify it here. And here by default it is gradient. You can specify the rules also. I'll show you how to specify the dynamic formatting. Okay, dynamic formatting, how to specify that, we will see it. Either it's already 10 o'clock, right? Yeah, we'll possible we'll see it today itself. Okay, this is the one. See, this is the one we manually go and configure it here. Supposing your reporting user, he doesn't want to, or we can give an option to the report user. Let's say you shared this report and to your manager, you are going to give him some option whether he can apply this rule or not. Simply if he wants to display the similar one, right, like this one, he doesn't want to see red, all these colors, and if he wants to see it, you can give him some option here. Okay, slicer, you can use something like slicer. For example, I'm going to click on this slicer here. You can create a table. What I do is, how do I create a table? Enter data. Click on enter data. It is not necessarily you have to load the data from your Excel file all the time. There are some times you can create your data using this enter data option itself. As part of Power BI desktop itself, you can type static values. For example, here I'm going to say status, and I'm going to add another column as code, or I'm going to say code and status. Code 0 is off and code 1 is on. I'm going to create a table. Okay, so this is, I'm going to use this table to implement that logic. Don't worry, I will explain you what this one is all about. Dynamic formatting of this one. Okay, here dynamic conditional formatting. How to do dynamic conditional formatting? Table got loaded. Okay. Okay, here there is a slicer. Slicer is also a visual. Okay, look here, this is my slicer. This is available just beneath this visualization. Just click on this. By using slicer, we can make our report more interactive. See, by default, Power BI visuals are interactive. The report canvas, right, whatever the visual that you are going to use it is interactive. And I'm going to see. Now we have created a new table, isn't it? So table by the name of, what name did I give for that table? Table 2. So what I will do is I just give some, this one, BG tables on the background or conditional format, CF conditional format table. I created a table, step 1. Where I create the table? Just beneath this modeling ribbon. Look here. In the modeling ribbon, if you click on this, in the home ribbon itself, you can find. In the home ribbon, you will find enter data here. Look here, this is the one I'm talking about. Enter data. When you click on this, it will open. Look here, when you click on this, it will open something like a table kind of thing. Here you can specify the column names, more than one column name, and you can see when you click on this plus sign, you can create as many columns as you wanted. Sorry, mistakenly you can create as many. If you click on this one, you could create so in this case what I did, I just gave this column as code, this column name as status. Okay, so I created 2 columns Now where is the C? Yeah, this is the CF table. Look here, what value, what columns I created? Code and status. I'm going to drag and drop the status in my slicer. It will show off or on. So what the user requirement is, let's say you join in a project, they mentioned, this is one of the real time scenario, okay? They want this provision. If the manager, he doesn't want to see all these colors, when you click on this one gets switched off. It should display something like this. Red, amber, green color and all, we don't need it, right? So in that kind of situation, if he wants to see, you just, when the user click on, it should display this one. If he doesn't want to see this, click on off. Okay, so by giving these two options, you are making this report or visual more user friendly, or right, user friendly, or user friendly. I am going to click on this eraser, so don't select anything at this moment. We need to write some logic, just creating a table, and then dragging and dropping the status column into a slicer visual is not sufficient. It will not, when you click on off, it will not get switched off automatically. Okay, so for this we need to write some logic. For this I'm going to use a measure. I'm going to create a measure. Okay, I'm going to create how do you create a measure? Anyhow, we will take a look at what is measure, what is calculated column as part of DAX. Okay, now you just understand how to create a measure. So look here, in the modeling ribbon, you find something called new measure. So the best way of creating the measure is, right, you can just go and select the table whatever you wanted. So this is the table, I want to create that one. Anyhow, I will teach you the best practice later point in time. At this moment, let it be there. Look here, the modeling tab, I'm going to click on the new measure. Here I'm going to specify the measure name, and then I'm going to specify the logic here. So this measure, I'm going to have a background color. Okay, background color. Okay, here what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something called switch true function. Don't panic, just at this moment watch what I'm doing. This and all I'll explain it as part of DAX in depth. Okay, don't worry. And then I'm going to do something. Okay, I have to create total sales. Yeah, total sales is a measure, already I created it. The total sales is less than 80, then you put red color. See, programmatically we have to do it like this. See, in this case we use the conditional formatting. We manually went and changed it, right? If the minimum value is lowest value, middle value, highest value, we selected the color, right? But we need to programmatically change it like this. Okay, that is the manual way of doing it. Red and comma, total sales is less than 150. Less than 150. I'm going to say yellow. Okay, and I'm going to use this one. Here what I am going to do is I'm going to use if condition. If selected value, we have a function called selected value. Here I'm going to, so which column? We have CF table, right? This is the one. Here in the CF table, when the user selects off, right? Sorry, not status, the code. What is the code for this one? Off. We have used two values, right? Off is 0, on is 1. Wait. Here somehow I pressed enter. It is trying to execute. It will throw an error. Don't worry. So here what I am going to do is, see here, if the table column as code is equivalent to 1, then use this logic, comma, use this logic. So now we don't see any error, right? So what I am trying to say is, See, in the CF table which I created, there we have two columns. One is status, other one is code. The code 1 represents on, okay, and 0 represents off, okay. So what this command does is, when the user select this one on, behind the scene for the on, what is the corresponding code? 1. If the user select off, it will, what will happen is this one will get disabled, okay, because we don't see any value for 0 here. By default, see, when the user select this one, the code is 0. When the user select this one, the code is 1, right? I'll just execute this one and show you, so that you should be able to understand. See, now no more syntax error, though we don't see any syntax error. Look here, you can see the down arrow, you just expand it. It is always good practice to use the proper formatting, okay. Switch, don't type all the commands in a single line, it will be confusing, okay. Less than 80 read, and later point in time, if you want to, as a developer, if you want to revisit your code to see all the logics whatever implement correct, if you specify like this, it will be good, right? So, and that's all, and click on this one, it will get minimized, collapse. So we have created a measure called background color. So what I am going to do is, I'm going to select that one also here. I just clicked on this here. Look here, the background color, right? It shows something like this. Okay. Now when I use off, what happens? Okay, here I did the formatting. Okay, so now what we need to do is, look here, not only this one. So I'm going to look here, this is my background color, right? For this I just drag and drop it here, sorry, not for this, here background color, I just already, it is there, okay. Remove this. So hope you understood the first one, right? Before creating the measure, the slicer, whatever I showed, you understood, right? The condition of, that's a pretty simple one, anybody can understand. The second one is how to dynamically create the background color. That is very important. That is what the interview they'll ask you. That is how we in real time we do it, okay. So what I am going to do is, I just select this visual and just go to this format, and I'm going to go to the conditional formatting. Here nothing is there, right? See, in the background color, look here, just go to this one, the background color, if you select this one, you will find something called conditional formatting, background color. In the background color, what I am going to do is, I am going to use, this one is the field value. The field value is, what is my field value is my background color, right? So background, search it here, background, instead of searching it, right, instead of manually searching it, you just type it. So this is the measure that I created it, you just click on OK. Fine, we are done with it. And when I click on off here, okay, do have total, look here, it is enabled, right? It got enabled now. When you click on off, it will get, this one will get switched off, right? And So let me just check the total sales. Total sales, yes, this is the one. So what I am going to do is this is another measure. Okay, don't get confused. Okay, I will explain you one more time step by step. I just drag and drop this one also, total sales. For the total sales only we are setting the, see, first step is I created a new visual called total sales. So you might be asking this column is already there, why you computed it again? Because to demonstrate this I just created another measure. Okay, and now when I click on, what happens is, right, this one should get enabled actually, right? So this one should get enabled, and yeah, so this one should get enabled. Let me just go here and select this one. Conditional background color. Look here conditional formatting in this background color, it takes some time. Which field should be based on this? Here I'm going to select the field value as background color only, right? So you need to, let me do one thing. I'll use the total sales. This is not the field value, and this is a measure. Okay, it is not taking into account of measure. Okay, here I'm going to use the other measure or okay, what I will do is I'll have to use that one only, background color only. Okay. So this background color is not required now. I am going to remove it now. Look here, when I click on off, this background color will not be there. Okay, this is called dynamic conditional formatting. Okay, when I click on this on, so now what is the difference between these two? This is your static way of doing it. You just went there, you went to the format pane, and then you just specified the conditions, right? This is your static way of specifying. But with this, if you specify this, what will happen is, even if you use the slicer, sorry, I just pressed some wrong key. Okay, see, when I click on this off here, when I click on this off, this will not go away. This will go away. Look here, this went off, right? I just clicked on off. I don't want the background color. So dynamically, I can, by selecting either this or this, I can, either display the background color, or I know if I don't want to display the background color. But with this approach, this is a static way of doing it. What happened here in this case is, since you went and created it manually here, look here you went and you clicked on conditional formatting and you selected the sum of sales column and then advanced controls. Since you have created this condition already, this is static way of doing it. Okay, when you do it statically, what will happen is you cannot give this kind of feature, right? This is called dynamic conditional formatting. How did we achieve the dynamic conditional formatting? What are the steps involved? First step is I create a measure called total sales. the total sum of sales, right? Whatever the in the sales one, I have a column called sales. Sum all the sales in this table, total sales. Okay, so that is what. So I've created the measure already. I just dragged and dropped this here. For each state and city, it did this splitting automatically. Fine. So far so good. First step is create the measure, this measure, and second step is I just write it somewhere here. Ideally I should have put it some. Let me just move this somewhere here. Step 1 is create a measure by the name of total sales. I will upload this one once again. Okay, in that case what you need to do is once you download this in your thing, you just go and click on this one. Okay, click on this one. What logic I wrote it in this measure, you can see. When you double click on it, on this top you can see it. Okay, the logic. What logic? Sum here. What in this measure? What did I write? Sum of sales 1 is my table. In this table I have a column called sales. Sum all the sales from the sales 1 table. That value you store it in the variable called total sales. This is my measure. Now I create a measure. Second step is drag and drop it here in my table. Hence this also become part of my tables column. Okay, second step is create a table. So in our case I have created a table by the name of CF table. Okay, CF table, conditional formatting table. Okay, so in this table I created two columns. First column name is I think code. Second column name is status. Code 01. 0 means I just put some value off here meaningfully, and here I put on here. And in step 3 I created a slicer. Look here, this slicer is available here. You just click on it, it will get. So next create a slicer, and then drag and drop this status column into this slicer. Right, this is the one we dragged and dropped it here. The moment when I dragged and dropped the status column, only the status column into this slicer, we could see the values of the status column here, off, on. Okay, create a slicer, and then and drag and drop status column from where? From CF table, from this table. Okay, fine. And what is the fourth step? Fourth step is I just selected the totals. I just dragged and I create another measure. Create another measure with the name of background color. Background. Similarly, you can change the font size also dynamically. Okay, background color. In this, what logic I wrote it? When you click on the background color, this one, you can see the logic there. Right, I have used if selected value CF table code equal to 1. I just show you now itself one more time. Look here, all you need to just click on this one. Sorry, not this. Oh yeah, background color, right? This is the one, and just expand it here. This is the logic I used it. So selected value, what it does is selected value function. What will happen is when the user selects any value in your, when the user selects any value, either off or on, right? The selected value behind the scene, it will pick up that value. Let's say you have selected on. Let's say you selected on. What happens is this measure, in this measure, what is the corresponding value for on in the CF table? It is 1, right? It is 1. For on, the corresponding value in this CF table is 1. So it picks up automatically. So dynamically based on the value that you selected, it obtain the corresponding code here, right? And then what it is, I'm going to use, this is like a nested if. You just think, if the total sales is less than 80, then put red. 60 is obviously less than 8, put red. The total sales is less than 150, put yellow. Right? You can write one more condition also for green. Okay. So what I did, I created this measure, and what I did, this measure I mapped with which column? See, the red yellow should get applied to which column? This column, right? Total sales. That is the mistake I did it, right? So what I did, it's not a mistake, I got stuck up there. In step 5, in the fields section, right? In the fields section, select the, in which field section? In the field section for total sales, right? When you click on the total sales, you will find the background color. There you need to go and select this measure. See, we created this measure, right? This measure you need to map it to this column, so that what will happen is the selected value function depends on the status, either on, off, whatever you selected. It it captures the corresponding code automatically behind the scene. Supposing if you select off, it will pick up the 0. The corresponding code for the off is 0 in this table, right? It will go and pick up automatically from this table. So 0, hence it will not apply anything. It will not put any background color. If you select on, it is 1. If it is 1, right? If it is 1, we specified explicitly. If it is 1, then you apply the background color based on this condition to this column. You need to tell which column this measure has to be mapped, right? So for this, the total sales column, I have mapped this measure. My measure name is background color. Okay. So this is how you can create the conditional dynamic formatting. So in this, as part of the data visualization itself, I covered the basic and advanced level of DAX also. Okay. They will ask you this question in the interview. What is dynamic conditional formatting? You just give it a try. I will just upload this one. All the data files are already there in my GitHub, and you just download this file, data model part 1 bridge latest, and then what it is, go to the page number 5 and then start play around with all the, play around all the visuals including this one. Okay, next, before we wrap up, so I'm going to